Hi, this is Wanal. It is a pleasure to be with you today, and it's always been a pleasure to be with you. Today, I just want to talk about a topic, and the topic has to do with being positive. Now, if you have the opportunity to watch some of my previous videos, or at least read some of my articles that I've posted on Facebook and YouTube, you have an idea what I'm talking about when I'm talking about being positive. Before we go any further, I just want to take a minute or so to kind of elaborate a little bit and exactly what I mean by being positive. To begin with the articles that we've written and posted, and again, regardless of the topic that we've talked about, one of the topics are very controversial in terms of the recent law that was recently passed to allow same-sex couples to be married, which I believe is a very extremely controversial issues or topic, so to speak. We're always trying to land on a positive note. And the reason being that I focus so much on being positive because I believe that strongly that when we are being positive, it makes things easier. When we are being positive, it makes life a little more fun or more fulfilling, so to speak. And I also believe strongly, though, we do have control over ourselves in terms of either being positive or being negative. So the choice is always ours, no matter how you look at it. When we are talking about being positive, it's not like we don't really know the reality of life. When we are talking about being positive, it's not like we are belittled or we are not really aware of the obstacles and challenges of life. That's not what we mean. When we are being positive, we simply means that we just look at things and focus more on the bright sides of life. We focus more on the positive sides of life. When we are being positive, it does not mean that we always see things through the rosy glasses. That's not what we are saying. Because we're all aware that, and we cannot deny it, that life is full of problems. Life is full of challenges. Some of us will lose our job. Some of us will lose a loved ones. Some of us will, face some sickness. Some of us will face, unfortunately, the unfortunate. Does that mean that we always have to be sad and always in constant worrying that what's going to happen next? No, because otherwise life will have no meaning. There wouldn't be no essence to life if we have to constantly worry about what's going to happen tomorrow. So we can choose to be positive. And like I said again, it's up to us. Being positive, again, as I've said earlier, is to choose to be happy, to choose to see things and focus on the positive sides of life. Now, I'm sure one of you may know somebody, or at least have encountered somebody who's always negative. And when we're talking about people who are negative, we're talking about people who always have a problem for every solution. Why is that? Because those people, they just live in this negativity. And I always urge people to stay away from those kind of field folks because the reason being because they always pull you down. They always put you under umbrella, so to speak. And it's the same thing works again for being a positive. When someone is positive, when you associate yourself with somebody who's positive, you have the opportunity to be positive as well because it's the energy that are being released. So therefore, I think it's extremely important to always be positive. Now, I'll give you an example of what I mean by being positive. Just to prove to you that being positive does not mean that you don't know that life is full of problems. Like I said again, you just choose not to allow life problems, life's challenges to overcome your happiness. Now, let's say, for example, I go to my job today. My boss calls me in his office and saying, you know what, Ronald, I'm sorry I have to let you go because your job has been eliminated because we're all facing financial problems. Now, here am I sitting in my boss office. I have two options. I can either punch him out for delivering this horrible message to me, not knowing how am I going to pay my mortgage, how am I going to feed my children. Now I'm just being fired. Or I can just say to my boss, I thank you so much for giving me the opportunity, to work for a company that it was a pleasure and I've learned a great deal in lieu of just doing something bad, which can hurt me for the rest of my life. So it is an option that I have. I can either take it as a positive or I can take it as a negative. So the choice is mine. So somebody like me who constantly trying to be positive, my option will be, I thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to work for you and for your company. And I've learned a great deal. And I just moved on and thinking that things will be better. And when I mean that thinking of things will be better, it's not so much of thinking that things will be better. You have to behave, you have to act, you have to do everything possible to make sure that things will be better. It's a choice that we have. That's why sometimes it's a little mind-boggling to me when someone says to me, "Oh, you know what? So and so gâté mood moi jodi. Moi pas capable gâter ça." Okay, you have control over whether you want to be happy, whether you want to be sad, whether you'll always be on this constant worry. It's a choice. And the way you think, that's what makes all the difference. So what we are trying to say to you in all the articles that we have written and posted, we want you to be positive because again, as I've said earlier, when you are being positive, positive things evolve around you. There's no magic formula to that. It is as simple as, drinking a cup of water. So be positive because when you are positive, it's good. When someone comes to you with a negative message, always try and look for the positivity in that particular scenario the person is explaining you. I believe personally that every person, no one is perfect. I believe everyone has the positive and the negative inside of them. But I always focus on the positive sides of people, and that's why I don't have anybody really that I really hate or don't hate or whatever the case may be. Because the truth is, I focus on the positive of people. People, let's be positive. Being positive does not mean that, again, as I've said earlier, that you are not aware of life's problems. That's what it means. But the truth is, though, no matter what you do, whether you remain to stay happy, whether you choose to stay always, in the dark, whatever the case, maybe things will happen. If it means for you to lose the job will be lost. If it means for you to lose the house will be lost. What's really important is to stay positive because when you stay positive, okay, your life becomes more fulfilling.